Hello and welcome. I'm Peter, the host of this channel. And on this channel, I share my experience as an independent explorer in the world of the occult, the unseen dimensions of consciousness. If you're watching this, I don't believe it's by chance. You've been guided here for some reason, and what I have to share today may genuinely shift how you see your life. Today, I want to explore a question that many people carry quietly for years. What is the meaning of life? What's the point of living in the third dimension? The third dimension is this everyday world that unfolds every second in front of our eyes and senses. Birth, work, relationships, fear, desire, pain, pleasure, death. What I'm about to share may sound abstract, but it's something that I've repeatedly received through my third eye states. It's what some traditions would call Akashic insight. So let's jump right in. Oh, and by the way, if you find that this video is to your liking, then please give it a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as it really motivates me to create more content like this. Why life has no meaning is only half true. You've probably heard some people say, life has no inherent meaning. We give it meaning. In my humble opinion, that's partially true, but incomplete. From what I've perceived with my third eye, events in the fourth dimension directly shape what we experience here in the third, even though it is almost impossible to describe how they do it. There's a constant kind of dance between opposites in the fourth dimension: light and dark, order and chaos, soft and harsh, infinity and zero. This is not a battle. It's a looped dance or communication between the localized conscious mind and the infinite unconscious mind. Actually, it is not exactly these elements that are dancing in the fourth dimension, but the source elements, for the lack of a better word, from which these opposites arise in this dimension. So from these source elements, let's see what evil really is and isn't. Here's where things usually get misunderstood. In my understanding, in the third dimension, evil does not objectively exist. There is no evil as we know it in nature. What exists here is fear. Fear is how the third dimension interprets a small, dark, cold, harsh imperfection that exists in the fourth dimension. That imperfection is like a false note in a piano play that makes the tune more beautiful and interesting. So in the fourth dimension, this, quote, darkness is not malicious. It's simply the contrast, the contour, the outline for the pictures that emerge in the first dimension due to the communication between the two infinites. Like black ink in a drawing. Without it, nothing would be visible and comparable. That slight imperfection is necessary for movement, distinction, and form. But when translated into the third dimension, the same imperfection becomes a low vibrational frequency that our bodies and minds label as fear. And fear creates images. Fear creates monsters. Fear creates limitations. Fears create our idea or our version of evil. So in the third dimension, we create evil, and in the fourth dimension, evil creates us. Evil is the one we blame for all our shortcomings, misfortunes, and pain. So what is the game here in the 3D world? This brings us to the core answer. The meaning of life in the third dimension is to confront and overcome the fear that we create or inherit from others. From infancy to death. This is the game, not suffering. Every fear you face rewrites your inner structure, changes your life trajectory, alters your fourth dimensional pattern. If you've ever overcome a deep fear, you already know the relief, the clarity, and the expansion that comes with it. That's not random. That's true growth and change. Why facing fear is so powerful? When you defeat fear, you unintentionally defeat your version of evil. And I'm not saying that I understand everything about this perfectly, but what I understood is that by defeating or overcoming fear in this dimension, you cause some kind of change in the fourth dimension. And as a reward for that change, your life becomes richer, more magical, and more rewarding when you do this work. A person who has faced fear deeply is no longer afraid of death. and that alone can create a long, meaningful life. Now here's the trap. Why most people stop playing the game. As people grow older, they stop confronting fear. Instead, they rationalize it. They say, I'm too old, it's unrealistic, that's just how life is, can't do anything about it. But rationalization feeds fear. It gives it authority. That's why growth requires a little madness. And now, here are some practical examples. This is where it gets real. The work is simple, but not easy. If you're scared of heights, jump off that cliff into the water. If you're shy, ask that girl out. Ask for that promotion. Leave that abusive relationship. Start that business. Take that first step. Speak the truth you've been avoiding. Every time you do what fear tells you not to do, your reality reorganizes. And if you remember from my earlier videos, these kinds of changes in your life pleases the spirit of nature because it loves change. And trust me, it's one spirit that you want to please because it rewards very generously. Take it from me. And now, why this works. Actions in the third dimension are not confined here. They echo into the higher dimensions, but it's a two-way street. You're like a two-dimensional circle trying to understand the three-dimensional sphere. You see the shadow, not the full structure. But the structure is there. I can sense this because I'm particularly tuned into the fourth dimension with my third eye. That's just one of my abilities. You have your own. So once again, clearly, the meaning of life in the third dimension is to identify your fears and overcome them. That's how you ascend. Sometimes in one lifetime, sometimes over many. Use your third eye to locate a deeply seated fear. Then act anyway. That's where freedom lives. So that is it for today. Thank you for listening. If you want to share your experiences or gifts, please leave a comment down below. If you want to sign up to the Proxy Spirit Experience, you can still do so via my email in my bio. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Much love.